Howdy everyone, it's me, Zombie, and welcome back to my happy little cosplay channel. I am so happy to be back. September was not kind to me. I got the flu, and then I hurt my hand, and it was just not very pleasant, okay? I still have like the remains of the cold that are just like gripping on for dear life, and I still have the phlegm, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, it is October, it's the best month of the year, and I have a video for you. Today, I'm gonna be making Johnny Silverhand's vest from Cyberpunk. So without further ado, let's go right over to the crafting table. To make a pattern, I'm covering half of my torso in plastic wrap. Doing this first step will make it easier to cut the pattern off of myself later. Now I'm adding duct tape to my torso area. I usually add tape on my left side so I can draw the pattern with my right hand, but that part is entirely up to you. After sketching the vest shape on duct tape, I can free myself from my duct tape cocoon and become a beautiful human butterfly. Rah! But seriously, don't wrap yourself too tight or you will get stuck. I have done that before. It is not fun. After I cut my pattern off of myself, I also cut darts in my pattern so it would lay flat on the foam that I'm about to trace it on. And since this vest is fairly flat and symmetrical, I can just trace the same half piece 4 times. That's 2 pieces for the front and 2 pieces for the back. I'm using some HD EVA foam by SKS Props to make this entire vest part. Specifically, I'm using the 6mm foam because that is just the right thickness to make a convincing vest, in my opinion. But you can use any thickness that you like. After I have my pieces traced, I'm using my handy dandy knife to cut everything out. Then I'm using some barge to glue the darts together, and then to glue each side together. For the panels on the front and the back of the vest, I'm using printer paper and tracing approximately where the panels are supposed to be. Then I can cut out each panel and transfer it onto the same 6mm foam I was using before. Before I glue the panels to the main part of the vest, I'm using my Fordham rotary tool to round the edges. If you're thinking about skipping this step, don't do it! Trust me, it'll make your pieces look so legit. And by legit, I mean less boxy and more natural looking. It's such a small step, but it makes a huge difference. Once my pieces are rounded, I can apply them to the main vest piece using super glue. I'm choosing to use super glue here because these panels are a bit smaller and it's more convenient for me to use super glue so I can maneuver all the pieces into place. Here's what the front of the vest looks like after all the panels are stuck on. If you wanted to, you could totally prime this and paint it black and then add all the finishing details and you could be done. But I'm gonna try something different to make this look like a fabric vest that has a lot of inserts. But before we do that, I'm going to make the back of my vest in fast motion. Woohoo! Doing the back was exactly like doing the front, only it has less details. Thank goodness! And as you can see, it's just a bunch of vertical panels that I applied with super glue. Okay, now it's the hardcore part. I'm pouring barge all over my vest and making sure that the goopy glue gets into all the nooks and crannies. I'm using a piece of scrap foam to squeegee the barge everywhere, but you can use a brush or whatever you like. Except your fingers, because that would get messy and sticky and gross. Just use a tool of some kind. I also applied barge to a panel of black stretch vinyl fabric that was big enough to cover the front of the vest. After both pieces are tacky, I can carefully drape the stretch vinyl over the vest. I'm using my hands and the blunt end of a marker to press the fabric into all the creases. If the fabric folds in funny ways, don't worry, that's actually accurate to the reference photos. So you can have some creases and not worry too much about it. But if you do want to fix it, all you have to do is gently peel the stretch vinyl off of the foam and reposition it. By the way, barge is stinky and super toxic. If you're using barge, wear a respirator, open a heckin' window, turn on your fan, and make sure all the animals are out of the room that you are using barge in. After my vest is barged, I can finish it up by cutting the excess fabric around the edges and folding that fabric on the inside of the vest. Then I can use some hot glue to stick the fabric on the inside of the vest so everything stays in place. I'm using elastic to create the front part of the shoulder straps. For now, I'm sticking the elastic down to the inside of my vest with my Surebonder hot glue gun and their fabric grade hot glue. To create some faux buckles, I'm using these foam half dowels from Lumen's workshop. I just flipped them over so the flat side was facing up and then glued them together into a buckle shape. Then I glued that piece onto the elastic strap. I applied Velcro to the shoulder straps and onto the interior of the back of the vest. As you can tell, these shoulder straps are a bit short, but don't worry, I fixed them. I ended up just sewing more Velcro onto the shoulder straps later so they actually fit right. I created the side straps for the vest using 2mm foam as interfacing, and then sewing the same stretch vinyl onto it. To sew things to 2mm EVA foam, I just switched my sewing machine to the leather / heavy fabric setting, and it sews like a dream. Now I can cut openings into the side of my vest and glue my straps in. I'm only gluing one side of the strap to the interior of the back of the vest because the other side is going to have Velcro so I can easily get it on and off. Now it's time to make the front of the vest look more beat up. Johnny Silverhand's vest is worn in some places. To replicate this, I'm using a low grit sandpaper and sanding the front of my vest. This causes some of the vinyl to wear and peel away, just like it looks in the reference pictures. In spots that I sanded all the way down to the foam, I just used some black acrylic paint to touch up those spots so everything looked the same color. But if you were using a black EVA foam under everything, you might not even have to do that. Now I'm taking a white acrylic paint and a bunch of teeny tiny little detail brushes and applying some white details to make everything pop. I'm applying it around the pieces I sanded, and I'm also applying it around the edges of my panels. This just makes these details really pop against that black surface because otherwise everything would just kind of blend in and look the same. And again, this is an artistic choice. You can totally do this in another way if you want to. It's just an idea. While I'm waiting on my vest to dry, I can paint my little patches. I use some 2mm HD foam to make these. After priming them, I freehand painted them using some acrylic paints. And after these patches were dry, I can glue them onto my vest using super glue. And of course, the patches have to look worn too, so I added some black acrylic paint. Now for the back of the vest. I'm using red and black acrylic paint to paint on the little Cyberpunk demon. I don't know what his name is, but I'm gonna call him the Cyberpunk Samurai Demon. I bet he has a real name, so I'm sorry. To paint this, I'm just freehanding it. I'm just looking at reference photos and then wiping away bits with a wet paper towel whenever I mess up, but eventually I got there. After my demon was done, I can do the same thing with the samurai logo. Again, I'm stubborn, so I wanted to freehand paint it. You could probably make a stencil or print off a vinyl transfer to make this look super awesome, but I got there eventually. It just took me a little more time. After the logo was dry, I weathered everything with black acrylic paint. And I couldn't even wait for this vest to be dry before I had to try it on. There was some super glue that still wasn't dry, and the shirt that you see me wear right here was covered in super glue. Rest in peace. But I think the vest turned out really cool, and I can't wait to work on the rest of the costume. Let me know what you would like to see me make next. You want me to make the arm? You want me to make a prop? What do you want to see? I would love to hear what you want to see me make next. This video would not be possible without all of my lovely patrons. Thank you all so much. I love chatting with you on Discord. I love sharing all my behind the scenes stuff with you. I just love you. Your support means everything to me, so thank you so much. And this week's Makers of the Week include Jack's Cosplay, who made this Lord Elrond cosplay. The needlework, all the props he made, and the color choices are so freaking legit. I love this. Thank you so much for showing me. Next up we have Blake Lair, who made this gorgeous set of Spartan armor. I love the little needles in the shoulders. It's just such a cool touch. It looks so rad. It's such like a fun pop of color. You look great and I love your armor set. Jessica Cosplay showed me this adorable Ygritte and Jon Snow couples cosplay. Oh, I feel the warmth in it. It just makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I love this. It just made my day. Thank you for showing me all your amazing work. And by the way, if you're working on something, whether it's a cosplay, a piece of art, craft, whatever you like to make, I would love to see it. Please show me. I am the same on all social media. That is Twitter and Instagram. I'm sorry I don't do the Facebook thing, but you can reach out to me on Twitter and Instagram on Zombies Workshop on both. So I can't wait to see you over there. Thanks again, y'all. If you liked the video, I do hope you'll hit subscribe because I would really like to see you back. And until next time, bye, y'all. Goodness.